It's 5 o'clock, and you're off the clock with B-Scott. Today, we're excited to have Monster Michael Todd back with us here to my left, and we got accompanying Daryl Moore. You guys have seen him around, and we're going to talk about the progress that Monster Michael Todd has made on his comeback, and it is quite impressive. But before we get into it, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, check out our other podcasts, check the last podcast we did with Monster Michael Todd so you can get caught up with where we are right now. So, tell me about it. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. So far the comeback has been a success, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
the first match we had at the Monster Factory versus Pablo. So he was ranked probably, what was it? Maybe 8th or 9th in the 115 kilogram East versus West world rankings. So I beat him 3-0. And then the first international match was April 20th. And that was against Frank Lamparelli. I think Pablo was 8th and Frank was 9th. So you would think that the Frank match would be easier than the Pablo match.
Well, different, huh?
It's different styles. Styles make matches, right? So there was a lot about that match that was a big deal for me. So I had known about it prior to going in, but didn't really register until the day of. And about a few hours before my match, I realized it was 6 months from the time my mother had passed. So I appreciate that, man. There's a lot of emotions involved in that one because Rebecca told me it's the first time she wouldn't have to wait to hear about the results. She could see it live, right? So
yeah,
that was really emotional for me. And so I got up there, had a very good game plan. And the very first ready go, we hit, slipped, game plan went out the window. There were so many emotions. I had a lot of anger going in just because just lost a mom and I just didn't understand how life was supposed to be like, right? So I just had a lot of emotions and stuff going into that. So as soon as they said go in the strap, instead of controlling him going backwards and taking control of the match and everything I had been training,
right,
I basically just attacked real hard sideways and overhit my hand and kind of just left it out there dangling. And I ended up getting a crazy pump. And I don't know if it was because of all the emotion or whatever, but normally once I hit outside, I time it to transition back in for a press.
right.
My legs wouldn't work. Like I couldn't stand back up. My legs were so cramped I couldn't stand back up. So once I hit outside, I kind of got stuck. After round one, and even the first start, I think I would have won that match, but he ended up getting called for a foul right when I had wrist position. Second start, I went into a press, missed it, came back out, just kind of stayed there for a little bit, and then he ended up getting the pin, so I'm down 1-0. Then I came back and had to really fight. It's not the match I wanted. It was a really, really difficult match. I wanted to just totally dominate, but I think it's the match that I needed.
Right.
Because it let me, deal with some demons I had, right? So I needed to have that match there that was put me in the worst possible case scenario and still find a way to win. Because that's what my career was made out of, winning the unwinnable match, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you put 99.9% of arm wrestlers in the world in that match, they lose. But there's too many things, there's no way I was losing that match that day.
You had a lot to fight for.
Absolutely.
You had more than just yourself.
So that one really meant a lot because, like I said, it wasn't the match I wanted, but I think it was a match I needed. Fast forward 6 weeks later, another opponent, Lars Robekin, he had a really good comeback. He'd had 2 victories at King of the Table against much larger opponents. I asked to stay super. He said, no, can we meet at 115? So another time I had to cut back down to the 253 category. And everything that I had trained, he wasn't the opponent to do those things with, right?
Yeah.
That would have been a more difficult path if I would have used everything I had been trained to get stronger. So I just had to go in and meet him in the center table to press, and I think they got the footage up right there. Round one, can you get it back to round one real quick? So it's the very first start of the match. So if you just go back to the very beginning of the video. So right here, so Lars Robekin he's known for being a bent wrist presser, right? It means he's going to set up, heavy shoulder commitment, dump his wrist and drive in.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 ways to counter that. One, you either grab them low and drag hook them and pin them real quick, or 2, you just bully the center of the table when you meet him in the center of the table. So I'm setting up the shoulder through his shoulder, right? And you'll see in just a second. So right now, my beard's starting to get caught a little bit, but.
Oh, man. Hey, it's a head flip for me.
Right. So
get out of there.
This is him going. Everybody's like, well, why didn't Lars try to shoulder press? He does. I just shoulder press much faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're so explosive. I mean,
that was kind of cool.
Like, if you really stop you have the fastest pin as well, don't you?
I have the fastest WL pin. That might be the fastest pin in East versus West or King of the Table.
I mean, just explosion. And it's crazy because, I mean, your skeletal structure, your muscles, everything has got to be sound
You have to have faith in your arm to do that.
Absolutely.
Because the guy's coming crashing in at me. So the crazy thing is, there it is again. Boom. I just go on top of his hand. I punch over the top of his hand. Crazy thing is, that match secured me a shot at the vacant world title in the heavyweight division, 115 kilogram world title. So winning that match meant I'm competing for the world championships, 10 weeks later. So that guy, amazing arm wrestler, phenomenal phenom guy from Armenia, super strong, explosive, just violent, right? All the stuff I had been training, he was the perfect opponent for me to use everything.
So at that point, the stars were aligned.
Yeah, I'm like, this is great. Pronation gauge, back pressure. He's going to try sideways. I'm going to crack his wrist he's going to hit sideways. I'm going to hit backwards. It's going to compromise his hand, right? Well, 6 weeks later, he's the light heavyweight world champion. We're going to compete for the heavyweight world title.
Yeah.
Well, he has a light heavyweight title defense, and he loses and gets injured and loses. So now I don't have an opponent.
What happened to the game plan then?
Get the game plan shot, right? Because next East versus West is in Orlando, Florida. So the opponents that we could have got to replace him for the heavyweight world title shot would have been from Russia or Ukraine. Couldn't get visas.
Oh.
So now
it changed everything.
It's a game changer. It's big time. Because, the heavyweight world title, as big of a deal as it is, it's not the end goal for me. It was just like a temporary stop that I was going to stop in that heavyweight division, hang out for a little while, be the world champ, defend a few times, and then go after the super heavyweight world title. Well, they had told me, hey, if you'll pull this match instead, it was a replacement offer, we'll let you pull Devin November 2nd for the heavyweight world title. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, why? But don't you want to pull Devin? I'm like, pulling Devin has never been the goal. Like, being overall number one is the goal.
Yeah.
Devin left the super heavyweight division. He's going down to the heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions. But the point was, would I have pulled Devin had I won the world title, had the match stayed, I would have won, of course, because I would have defended against Devin. But that would have meant I was the world champion. Devin was coming to me.
Yeah.
This opportunity, Devin was the world champ. He won it November 2022, but he had gotten stripped of it because he had defended it. Well, if we did it in November again, they were going to let him remain the champ, and then I'd be going to Devin. And it changes the narrative, right?
Yeah.
So it just didn't interest me. So immediately I'm like, no, dude, I'm just going after, give me a super heavyweight. So I was like, just give me a super heavyweight opponent. I don't care.
And super heavyweight, for people who don't know, that's like that's the freak of natures.
Well, they're big guys. They're big guys.
These are huge guys.
Like the opponent that I have now is Kamil Jablonski from Poland, 6'3.5", 6'4", 300 plus pounds, right? Like right around that 300-pound mark, maybe a little bit heavier. But Levon Saginashvili is the same height as me, 6'3", and 390, 385, 390. He's overall number one in the world. So he's the Mount Everest of our sport right now. He's the guy who has not lost a professional match in his entire career.
Wow. That's crazy.
And he's the goal, right? He's the goal. And so many people think I'm delusional, and it's just insane.
Well, that means you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many people tell you, hey, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or why would you even try that because it's unattainable?
Of course, right? So
that's what makes it fun.
It does make it fun. It does make you're doing something right. But the thing is, and this is going to be a little bit of so that match right there, that was not the guy. I mean, that's not the way I've been training. But the guy I was going to be pulling was the way I've been training. Well, now he's out, so I'm pulling a bigger version of that guy. So exact same. So everything I've been training is not how you pull this guy.
Which is, like.
So I'm going to have to do the same thing again. I'm going to have to try to bully this center against a very, very powerful person.
Right.
And there's a big risk of injury when you have a 300-plus pound guy driving towards you and you meet him in the center of the table. And that's what I'm going to do.
When you meet him fast, too.
Yeah, it's going to. And it's funny because a lot of people have been giving their predictions, and some well-known, accomplished arm wrestlers say he's faster than me. And I'm like, faster than me?
I'm the fastest.
There's no way he's faster than me. But so that match coming up will be a big deal. If after I win the match, I'll have 12 weeks later, I'll be pulling Gennady Kvikvenia, who's overall number 5 in the world overall. And he just came off a bicep surgery. So we both basically are coming off, injured, recovered biceps.
Right.
That match will be November 2nd in Istanbul. And that kind of sets me up for the perfect trajectory to get a overall world title shot versus Levon summer next year.
That's big.
Yeah, it's a very big deal.
That's really big. So Daryl, you don't know, and some people might not know, you came off of a major bicep injury where you had to go in, get surgery, reattach a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, because he had, how many of it was fractures and the bone just kind of.
Well, I had over 70 plus fractures in my right elbow that had created osteophytes, which is bone,
Yeah.
the size of a tennis ball. So it limited my range of motion. My arm wouldn't close past this, right? So this is as far as my right arm would close. Well, the surface of those osteophytes were essentially like a coral reef. So every time I used my bicep, it was just shredding my bicep tendon. So it shredded, ripped off the bone, shredded north to south. To reattach it, the doctor's like, I can fix it, but we got to take all that bone out. Well, I wasn't aware they could take the bone out. He was able to get all the bone out, repair the bicep tendon. I went through all the recovery, did everything the doctor said, had 6 figures plus worth of stem cells in my right arm. Thanks to Vitacell Global, they took very good care of me. And now I think I have an opportunity to do something I've never done before.
Yeah, it's a comeback story. And it's a major one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's coming back from, I would say, as bad of an injury as you can get, just about.
This one was, this was a lot bigger than just a bicep tear, so it was a big deal.
To where now he's got like explain the right now you're on day 50 of the PR.
Yeah, of a pronation lift, right? So there's a pronation lift that Devin Laird made very popular, and basically you wrap a belt around your thumb and you do a tiny lift to get the weight off the ground. And I had done 154 pounds, 70 kilograms. But I could barely get like the piece of cardboard underneath it, and I couldn't duplicate it. Couldn't get past it, no matter how many times I attempted it. I was like, okay, I've got 55 days until I'm going to rest for a week before my match. I'm going to go to 80% of my 1-rep max, and I'm just going to start there, and I'm going to do the lift every single day, and do small increments. Ultimately, after about 3 or 4 days, it ended up being a 0.75 pound increment daily. Well, the thing was, I never noticed that 0.75 because I was at it. People were like, how are you increasing every day? I'm like, well, I'm not really. My max is 154. I'm below my max. I'm just letting my body adapt and adjust to this lift every single day.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know if you heard this, but anybody my age heard this when they're kids. If you pick up a calf from the time it's a brand new calf, so it's a full-grown cow, if you pick it up every day, you'll be able to pick it up. That's probably not true.
That's probably not true,
But the theory.
Yeah, I like the
sense.
theory.
Yeah. So basically, I just do the lift every single day. Well, I blew right past the 154. That was my previous. The goal was 155 August. I blew past that. Devin Laird's personal record was 165 pounds. I blew past that. Levon Saginashvili, the overall number one in the world, he has done 176 pound lift, and I did a 175 yesterday. And I still have today, tomorrow, and Friday. So
that's epic.
I'm definitely going to beat his PR. Now, that doesn't mean it translates 100% to the table. It means I can beat Levon. It just means I have the same power he does on this lift.
It means that, it really just shows how much stronger you're getting.
Well,
and not only that.
We got a new thing that we've been thinking about doing.
All right.
And I'm looking at your arms and all that.
Dude, I already know where this is going.
Just imagine this. Put this in the middle, right? I think I need to get some of those weightlifting, right? So spear hunting is now legal in Arkansas.
Okay, all right.
So, spear, like long spear.
Yeah.
Just a knife,
traditional spear.
Traditional.
Okay, just like.
It's now you can do in archery season, the whole archery season.
Yeah, you can kill a deer with a spear. So I think we need to get on this workout train with him of lifting these weights and then get him to come with us.
He can spear through a tree.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
Like, I got a good feeling that, like, because they're bigger spears. You think a spear is a stick and an edge, but really these are like 10-pound spears.
Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. So are you throwing the spear like a javelin, or are you throwing the spear
Okay, so that's what we're still trying to figure out.
I think what you see a lot of people do is they kind of guide it down, more down than out, into the deer. But
so they're from an elevated position.
Yeah, you're like sitting up, and then you're like kind of just like.
I'm sure though, with like some athletic ability, everybody's a little different. You might could actually throw it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it just depends on how comfortable you be.
But I mean, just imagine.
I would definitely be cool practicing with some targets first.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, for sure.
No, I don't recommend slinging a spear 40 yards right off the rip. Like, just got it in, just climb up a tree and just throw it as far as you can at an animal. I don't recommend that. It's not good.
But I'm just thinking, like, look at those arms, like,
dude.
It sounds like that could be a lot of fun to
try.
Things
are dangerous.
Yeah. I think after he wins the world championship, this has got to happen.
Let's do it.
Well, there you go. I mean, I have camps. Like, I have a 12-week training camp. So, I mean, I can take, as long as it's not too close to an upcoming match, I can always step away and have fun stuff. So, on that note, this happened. I told you we had the big practice on the 13th, right? Arm wrestled for a few hours.
Right.
So, after all that arm wrestling, I have the obstacle course at the house, right?
Yeah.
So now I have a Sprint Ninja Warrior course inside. So I have a 24-foot ascending, descending monkey bar rig that goes into a whole bunch of other stuff.
We're going to have to go there sometime. You got to see this place. This place is immaculate.
You'll like it. So I was like, well, crap, I'm going super heavyweight now. So as soon as I accepted the super heavyweight match with Kamil, I immediately said, okay, I'm not going to bed hungry anymore because I've been going
Yeah.
to bed hungry for like the last couple of years, with the exception of cheat days, right?
Right.
So I'm not trying to get huge. I'm just making sure I feed my body so that I can recover. Because my opinion is, the moment you put a restriction on your caloric intake, you put a ceiling on how strong you can be.
That's right.
I've had a restriction on my caloric intake for the last decade, probably,
Yeah.
with the exception of maybe a couple of months, and then I'll get fat, and I'm like, oh, I got to get in shape again. This time I'm going to try to just eat as healthy as I can for as long as I can and see what happens. But so as soon as that happened, I was immediately started, having big meals before I went to bed.
Yeah.
So on that practice, I'm like, well, I haven't tried the salmon ladder yet.
Yeah.
and
That's where you got the bar and you climb.
just
it.
like Ninja, where you go jump
Right.
up the thing,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I didn't tell Rebecca because Rebecca's been wanting me to stay off everything because she says I'm prone to getting injured. I just think I live an active lifestyle.
You're prone to having
stuff
fun.
happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we get out there and I get on the salmon ladder, boom, boom, and then the top one. So you start on one, got to two, got to three, and I go to the fourth one, and the left side didn't catch, the right side did, and it ripped my callus off. Right, so this was a pretty deep callus, and blood just starts gushing.
Yeah. No, it was embedded, I'm sure.
It was bad, yeah. So she freaks out and starts coming out like she's angry about it.
She's mad at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I go inside, I spray the new skin on it, whatever.
Yeah.
I go back out to the gym, and you've seen me box jump an arm wrestling table.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, let's box jump an arm wrestling table, because I'm getting heavier.
Don't tell me you did a back-to-back injury here.
Well, so I've only missed one box jump in my life, and I've just very rarely. I've always can do it.
Yeah.
Well, the way we have the new space set up is we have a larger base on this particular table. So my toes are on the base, my heels were on the floor. It threw me off. Went, and I missed it. Chin slammed into the steel frame. And that's not the bad part. I did it again.
Did you do it 2 times in a row?
Hit the same spot on my
So,
shin.
so I'm just so I can just write. It pissed you off the first time.
Yeah.
You're like, I can do this.
I'm like, there's no
way.
I don't miss box jumps.
Yeah.
I don't miss these. And I missed it again. So then I realized what it was. I'm like, okay, it's the big base. So I walked over to the other table that has the smaller base, and I landed. No problem. But at that point, the damage had been done.
Yeah.
The right shin goose egged out.
Mm.
Probably, it was huge. Like I can't. Like it looked like at
Oh
least
my God. What did Rebecca say?
oh no, she's mad. She's real mad, right?
She
So
wouldn't put a lock on the gym.
no, she was pissed. She's like, you just don't care about your upcoming. I'm like, honey, I care. I'm just not going to quit living, right? So to go into that, 2 weeks later, the swelling hasn't gone down. Like it's still huge. I started antibiotics after about a week. It was like, dang, I don't want to get an infection. Who knows what's going on? Because it was pretty gashed up.
Mm.
Well, after
Because you're not a small guy.
no, I mean,
No, let's get this straight. How much do you weigh?
Well, I'm 285 right now.
285,
So I was probably
box
275 then.
Yeah.
So 275 landing on your shin on a steel frame is not
Oh.
good.
I can feel it right now.
That's
Yeah,
throw
so
up.
it was,
I've witnessed people do it. It's not nice.
This is the bad part. So I go into the doctor. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. He goes, well, you want me to, to go ahead and cut it open? I'm like, well, sure. We're gonna have to do something. I'm gonna find out what's up because Rebecca started getting worried that there might be an infection in the bone or something.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Yeah.
Well, he goes in there, shoots a little shot in there to dull it, so I can't feel it, and he just gets the blade and just starts slicing it open, and he just starts squeezing it out. And these blood clots just start shooting out of it. I mean, it was so much
You're like,
old
whoa.
black blood that was just
Yeah.
dead in there, basically. And these huge clots just started shooting out of it. Well, I can't feel anything, right? And
Yeah.
I get home, and he's already, bandaged up. And Rebecca's like, as soon as that pain stuff wears off, it's going to hurt really bad. So I went through that. So obviously, I don't need to be doing any more stupid stuff before my match.
You
But
know, it's
if
like-
you get it far enough out from, I'm saying all this to say, if we're far enough out from a match, I can still do stupid
Yeah.
stuff.
So he's saying
You know
if
what
he
I'm
does
saying?
come with
Like,
us, there's a good
it's-
chance he'll get hurt.
Yeah, he knows how stuff goes with us. And like,
just
somebody's gonna end up spotting and stalking the dude. That's trying to like.
you never
watch
know what's
spirit.
going to happen, right? But it's just, I tell people all the time, you only live once. Nobody's promised tomorrow. Let's make the most
I
out
think
of
we
the day.
could
So,
convince him if we
Yeah.
did it. They'd have a hog run, then we could jump on his back.
Dude, hey, I bet you can manhandle the crap out of a hog.
I've never tried, but I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Dude, I bet you he
Dude,
can
I bet.
sling
It's
them
fun.
around.
We can make that happen.
Absolutely easy.
We'll let the dog grab first, then we go in there and try to grab him.
Yeah,
and
get him
sling
by
him
his back legs.
around. Yeah,
Right.
flip him over.
There
Time
you go.
up.
Wrestle him a little bit,
It's fun.
Hog wrestling.
Yeah.
Hog wrestling.
All right.
That'd be kind of cool.
Absolutely.
I think we should do it.
I mean, I think the hog would be scared shitless when he sees him.
I mean, if I see him coming, I'd be like, if I was hard, lay down, like here, just whatever you
I'm
want to
done.
do.
Do whatever with me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So big things. You're making crazy jumps. I think you're probably. talking to you now, I think you're further along than you actually expected to be on your comeback.
Yeah, okay, so just setting the goals on the pronation lift, I had set an unrealistic goal of 171.75 by Friday, August 2nd.
Right.
And I passed that a couple days ago, right? So I had no idea. That was if I was perfect and never missed a lift. And there's no way I'm not going to miss a lift. I'm going to miss eventually. And I didn't. And then I just started making larger increases. So definitely way further along than I thought I was going to be in that. But the healthiness of my arm, how it feels.
Confidence with it too.
Just the rigid integrity of it. It feels like I can do a lot of damage with it. So I feel strong. So like I said, this guy, he's going to come crashing forward. Same as the match with Lars, just a bigger, stronger guy. And I'm just going to meet him in the center of the table. And,
see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'll do the same thing I did to Lars. And let's just say the guy pins me. I mean, I don't think it's possible. But if he does, I have another route to go as well, which would be a longer match, because with him flopping, I can come straight back with a lot of back pressure. I'll have hand control. And this guy has got a crazy press, but I've never seen him in a long war. Like, I've won 7-minute matches. I've regularly had 2 and 3 minute matches and come out on top. He either pins you quickly or he gets pinned.
That's right. So with
I
that
feel
being
like
said,
once the match stops,
that's your specialty.
Yeah.
Do you ever think okay, I know this guy's never gotten in a long battle. Do I want to make him wait it out? Do you ever think that, or you just try? I mean, obviously you want to try to do as fast as you can. Do you ever after a certain time, you get 20 seconds in, you're like, you know what? If I'm gonna go 20 seconds, I might as well make him wait 4 minutes.
Well, if it's 20 seconds in, it's going to be a war already.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing is I want to finish you quickly because I want to go back home injury free and start training for the next match, right?
Yeah.
But if we get into a war, and the thing about it is, there are times in matches that I'll think about quitting. I'm like, damn, that's rough, right? And then I immediately think, well, if I'm thinking about quitting, I know that dude's about to quit, So
that's right.
That's just how it works.
Yeah,
if it's entering my mind, like this is a tough match, then I know that guy's in deep water because everyone that knows, like, once the match stops, they've seen me have an entire career of winning the unwinnable match, being in the most difficult matches and finding a way to win. So there's a confidence to that match stopping for me. And when I look across the opponent and you see them just have this look of despair, like, oh crap,
because the pump,
I'm stuck.
the
And
fatigue.
I'm here in this spot, and this guy lives over here.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You built your whole career on being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
becoming comfortable.
What a rough road.
Uncomfortable, right? Yeah,
what a rough road you picked. You know it.
Well, and the thing about it, what it was is, I always train in a way that I prepare for worst case scenario. So many people try to get the perfect setup, try to get this, try to get that. I want everything to be horrible, so that I'm already prepared for the worst thing that could possibly happen. So if it does, I'm already used to it, right? If it doesn't, awesome, So I just train in a way, like a lot of people say, well, my hand and wrist wouldn't got pumped out of one. Well, I'll do most of my arm wrestling specific training once I've already pumped my hands and wrist up.
Yeah, plan for the worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
Man, that's awesome.
That's actually smart.
It's like I was saying earlier when we were talking earlier about it, is like you do not understand. You're either all the way in arm wrestling and you know how deep it goes, or you don't know nothing.
Yeah. I'm on the other side, but the more he talks about it, I'm like, this
But
is
you
just
were the 4th grade champion.
Yeah, I was 4th grade champion. And I think I could take him. It might take 2 hands, both legs, and my
in your
truck.
So
maybe you're side by side.
I would like to do something, probably not a side by side, but you get a 4-wheeler and get a long enough band with a handle that I could put on it and let somebody gradually go into it. I think I can hold one back.
Especially with you got to think too, the wheels have got to.
They're not going to. If they're spinning, I think I can keep them.
I guarantee you. Because you're for sure strong enough to hold it.
I think so. I mean, I've always wanted to try stuff like that. I also wanted to.
Have you ever thought about doing deep sea fishing? Where you're fighting them fish for,
no,
big
but
spirit.
Devon's went on a couple of those where the big grouper or whatever. Massive fish. I don't know what they are. I think it's black tip or something. There's a big YouTube channel or something. He's done a couple of those, but his forearm got smashed tips against the side of the thing. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. That looks like it hurt me.
Fish or something else.
Definitely. So what would be cool, and I want to do this for a long time, and I don't know if there's ever a way to do it, but if you could set up a table and have a set of handcuffs, cuffed to something and cuffed to my wrist, and somebody say go, I think I could snap the cuffs. I'd like to try that.
That would be pretty cool.
I feel like we
that could be a viral video.
You could definitely do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got how fast your explosion is.
Yeah,
the thing is, though, it's okay, you need to break them. Because if you don't break them.
Yeah, it's going to. I mean, it's just when you punch a board. And if you punch the board and it breaks, it doesn't hurt. But if it doesn't break, it's like, damn.
It's
hurt.
10 times worse.
Yeah.
It's why not do that? Yeah. That's all or nothing.
Anytime you try breaking boards or breaking bricks, it
you
only
either got to do it or not
when
do
they
it.
don't break.
But you can't go in there scared.
That's a hero or zero moment.
Yeah.
You're going to break your wrist or you're going to break the cuffs.
Definitely a hero or zero moment. But that's something we can set up easily.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
we can fab that up.
I think
quick.
that's a pretty cool viral video right there. I mean, I'd probably like put some padding around my wrist. Duct
No,
tape
yeah,
or something.
you don't want straight on the
Yeah. You got to have a little bit of forgiveness somewhere.
Right.
Absolutely.
But, I think it'd be cool. I mean, I'm cool to do all that stuff. You see a few people, like one guy has a video where he's got like Harley Davidson and he's hooked a thing up to it, and the Harley. I think the guy's power braking and just spinning it and makes it looks like he's holding it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think I could withstand quite a bit of, once I'm tucked in nice and tight.
Yeah, like when you're connected, like when you're where you're strongest,
Right.
like you can kind of see, like in all your matches, you can see like where you're comfortable.
Right.
And once you get in that comfortable position, it's like you're using the full body. It's not just
dude,
the
listen,
arm.
The day after a match, you're sore from head to toe. Like, and used to, I don't get it much anymore. Used to, I'd get these massive bruises on my whatever hip. If I was arm wrestling right hand on my right hip because I'd be tucked in the table so hard.
Yeah.
I think my body's just used to it now. They don't bruise anymore, but used to massive bruises. Like we've had a guy, Matt Mask, during the WL 2018 season. Every match he tore something. He tore his quad. He tore his. He kept tearing his pec.
But it's not even like arm. It's
It's all
the
parts of his
positioning.
body that you don't realize he used. So much core involvement. There's a
Wow.
lot. Arm wrestling's a lot more specific than people.
It's a lot
think.
more of a physical demand than people realize.
Yeah, I mean. It's,
Oh yeah, because it's not just pushing sideways.
Yeah.
It's a tug of war. It's a full-on battle, and it's, in my opinion, it's the closest thing to fighting without getting hit.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, and it's a battle too, and it's a lot of the battles up here.
Oftentimes, right? Confidence is a big deal. Mental game matters a lot.
Gotta be focused when you get in there.
Yeah.
It's like you probably got to think before the other person's thinking. You got to almost kind of anticipate what
So
they're
much
thinking.
of that stuff's instinct for me now, right?
Yeah.
Just because
Of the years.
I've done it for so long.
Yeah.
I can counter any. Everything just happens. Like I can teach people how to arm wrestle, but I can't teach people to do what I do.
Yeah.
Because it just happens. Like it just.
It's no different than a baseball pitcher. He does it long enough. He feels every little connection, everything. He knows whenever he throws a pitch and it's off. He knows what part he didn't do right.
Right.
He can feel it. Mind to muscle connection that y'all have for that, I'm sure, is very similar.
Oh, I would assume so. Yeah.
So we've talked about your progression. We've talked about the big matches you've had recently. We've talked about briefly what you got coming up. Is there anything special that you need people to tune in and focus on coming up that's going to be that you're going to leave a statement behind with you?
Okay, so this is going to be. So this is just a little bit different. This I've been doing this for 34 years, right?
Right.
And I've always felt like I've had a belief that I never thought I was better than anybody, but I always thought I was as good. So if you could do it, I can do it, right?
Yeah.
And then it always came down to I would just want to be the best me I could be. I just so happen to think the best me could also be the best, right?
Yeah.
I've I still
Fortunately.
have all those same traits, and I think I've been blessed. God gave me an ability to endure and just be strong and to overcome. But I made a statement saying this is going to be the greatest comeback in arm wrestling, and I truly believe it's not going to be. This is not a how awesome Michael Todd is story. It's a how awesome God is story. I think He's working through me. People are following. They're invested, and what I'm trying to do now, which isn't the heavyweight world title, it's the super heavyweight. It's beating the guy who has never lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
At 51 years old, and by the time the match happens, I'll probably be 52. That won't happen because Michael Todd's awesome. That'll happen because God's awesome. And I think people are watching. I think it'll bring people to Christ because I'm going to do what's impossible. But I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I genuinely believe this is I only have one responsibility, and that's to do the work. Everything else is in God's hands, and I genuinely believe that we're in sync. I think I have no doubt. I have no worry. I just have faith.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's powerful. That's a powerful statement to leave too.
Yeah.
It shows people.
Because it's not supposed to be able to happen.
Right.
Like I'm
for
not
sure.
supposed to be able to do this at this age. I'm not supposed to. After 23 world titles, 36 national titles, catastrophic injury, everyone else would have quit.
Yeah, that would have been the end of the road for it.
But having it taken from me, and then in the same year losing my mom, and all those things together just gave me this desire and will to do something that most of the world thinks impossible.
Yeah.
But I know I can't do it alone.
That's right.
But, it's kind of like the Bible says too, that you can't, that God won't give you more than you can bear, And so if it's your purpose, which obviously it is, He's giving you that. He gives us his biggest wars to his strongest shoulders. So, we got 100% faith in you over here because we know.
I believe it. I
it's your
see
purpose.
it. I can see it happening
Yeah.
clear as day. I have little to zero doubt that you can do it. Zero. I've seen how far you've come from just when we did the last podcast. I mean, it's like then I sensed a little bit of we're going to try to do this. You know, we're going to
Right.
shoot for this, and now it's more of a we are going to be there, and not only going to be there, but we're going to win it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that energy from you.
Let me tell you on that note. So things got real dark, and I know God gave me my wife for this specific reason. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't have made it through this without her. After us finding out that I wasn't a guy who really, like, my father's manic depressive, bipolar and stuff growing up, so I saw depression, but I was always a person that thought, man, just be happy. Just I don't understand depression, just be happy, you know. Once it hit me, I now have an understanding of what depression is, right? And once we realized, dude, there's no medicine I can take. There's nothing that's going to fix me. We found out about ketamine treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through 6 rounds of ketamine treatments. And I actually did one more just a few days before what would have been my mother's birthday. Because my mom's birthday was May 11th, Mother's Day is May 12th. So I knew it was going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
So I went to a 7th session then. But in the 2nd session of ketamine, this is what's crazy. Completely out. Like basically asleep or whatever's happening. And I'm going through verbally, Rebecca's in the room with me, every match that I'm going to win this year. And everything I saw has already happened. Just like I saw it.
And you.
So that's not a me thing. That's just, I just know it's different this time.
Yeah.
Something different's going on.
And that's, you know, we can sense that. You know, Daryl, this is the first time that Daryl's met you, but I promise you, his impression right now, I'm sure, is like, whatever he is fixing to go tackle, he's fixing to hit it head on and it's going to make it happen. You know?
Yeah.
Because he's relentless. The work he puts in is relentless day in, day out. I mean,
That's the only, like I said, that's the only thing I have to do. That's the job, and I'm okay doing the job. I'm okay doing the work, and I like I said, there's nothing else that I can control. You know, I can control what I'm willing to do and the sacrifices I'm willing to make, and I think there's really some good things to come. So just very thankful for where I'm at in life. Thankful to have this second chance. Thankful to be blessed with an amazing team around me, and you know, happy to be here and doing this, and glad to see you guys are doing so well. But yeah,
I'm glad you came today too. You know, I think I needed.
I think it gave me another.
I think I needed this.
So, you know,
it was a reason you're here today.
Yeah, we're doing some big things, and I feel like that's kind of how me and B Scott's been talking about it too.
Yeah.
It's like, look, it's meant to be. We're going to do it, and I feel like doors are opening for us to do it.
It is, and just being
different stuff we're doing.
relentless. The relentless, just keep moving to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing, and you at the end of the day, you'll find yourself in places you never thought you'd be in.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. People, like you was talking about the differences between successful people and people who just, you know, come up short or whatever. It's not setting some crazy outlandish goal with no path to get there. It's setting this goal that once I reach this goal, I got this goal and I got this goal. If you keep hitting those small goals, before you know it, you look up and you've already accomplished that amazing
You're
goal,
miles
or you
away,
went past it. You know,
miles away from where you started.
Absolutely. But it starts with consistency. You know, just be relentless, like you said, daily activity, daily work, going towards that one goal. And if you just keep pushing forward, you know, and especially if you're a faith-based person, you know God's got a plan, things are going to work out.
That's right.
100%.
You got weather the storm.
100%.
Well, man, I'm glad you came today. This was great. I think we'll wrap this thing up. I know I'm pumped up. I can tell you're pumped up, and you're definitely pumped up. But like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Please go watch the last podcast we did with Monster Michael Todd. It was a great one, and you'll be able to see the difference for yourselves. Okay, we got a man over here to my left that is serious, and he's going to get it done. So make sure you go leave a comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. We'll see you on the next one.